There's a real sense of brotherhood in the film, the same you get with like the special forces and the army, and I see this on screen as well, but I wondered if you guys had it with the cast as well, you know, with each other, you felt that brotherhood.
Yes. And it came about as a sort of secondary and perhaps primary symptom of the nature of the training that we underwent at the hands of our director, Ray Mendoza, who entrusted us and to complete group objectives, and one of the symptoms of that is you just come to know each other's strengths and weaknesses quite well, and he encouraged us to recognise that in each other, and that brings you closer together.
Nice, yeah, brotherhood for life now.
Mm-hmm.
We heard there were nicknames on set. Did you guys have your own nicknames? We know Will was Daddy, Joseph was Funkle, and Charles was Top.
I was Babyface.
Babyface.
What were you?
I was Booger.
Booker.
And?
I was just Bugger.
And?
First.
But before...
What was it first?
And what were you, Cosmo?
I was Peshwari before that, but it didn't stick.
Yeah.
It did stick. It was just...
stuck, but it just transitioned.
You asked.
Yeah.
I'm joking, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
And I was Gandalf.
He was Gandalf.
I mean, great name to have, a bit jealous.
Amazing.
Kit, obviously, most people know you from Heartstopper, Rocket Man, and Romeo and Juliet. So this role is a bit of a switch up. I was wondering what it's like going from heartthrob to Navy SEAL.
I don't know. You know, I mean, that's the kind of the intention for a lot of actors, I find, you know, is to try and do things that are very different, and this was a very welcomed change for me. It was probably the first job that I've done, or set that I've been on. Sorry, he's trying to rock me. Set that I've been on, where it's been, you know, just really everyone kind of throwing all of our kind of egos, inhibitions, everything just out the window and just going full throttle to try and, you know, accomplish the same goal, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, it's nice to be able to do something really different, and I hope that I'll be able to do it, you know, many more times throughout the jobs that I do.
See some more action in your career. Michael, obviously we know your dad, James Gandolfini, made a documentary in 2007 where he interviewed soldiers who fought in Iraq, and I wondered if you watched it to prepare for this film.
I did, yeah. I watched it and spoke to the director of that documentary as well, and it's a large undertaking, so any information that we could learn, and that documentary was a beautiful documentary, you know, learning about what vets have to overcome in the wake of a, you know, injury, and how they sort of have to rehabilitate. So yeah, I did watch it. It just sort of increased my knowledge and my understanding of sort of what these men and women have to go through. It was you know, a different challenge. Any of the education that we learned in boot camp, or sort of the knowledge we learned, was about the specific obstacles and things that happen on that day, you know?
Yeah, very personal experience, I guess.
Yes.
Obviously the events all your characters go through are really intense. Did you manage to keep it light between takes, or did you try and keep it serious?
We really relied on levity, actually, to sort of not get, I don't want to say bogged down in it, but I think it was important to kind of keep the energy and keep the, you know, freshness there. So we did rely a lot on levity, despite the sort of subject matter and the events of the film. We had a great time making it. You know, we all, again, had this incredible bond.
And that does not seem that dissimilar from what we've heard from the SEALs, you know, like, and sort of men and women who have served, you know, levity becomes a necessary thing.
Yeah, you got to keep it light.
Yeah.
And, you know, same with the camaraderie, the brotherhood. They sort of, most of the film, the platoon is confined to one building, and I know you shot it in chronological order. How was that compared to, you know, past films?
A lot of the decisions that Alex and Ray made in terms of the process of making this film was very much whether or not it was for the intention of our benefit or not, I don't know, but they really did, you know, everything they did really did help us. Everything from the 15-minute takes at times to the, you know, the chronological shooting, to the immersive sound system around us, to the blank machine guns and M4s and things like that. Everything was just, it was incredibly immersive, and I think it did make our jobs as actors a lot easier.
They did terribly.
I think Charlie would be great in a zombie apocalypse.
I think that's absolute
rubbish.
I've got a bunch of fan questions here.
Oh, wonderful.
They're so excited for the film. The first one's from Heartstopper Brazil, and they would love to know, what were the biggest differences between filming the movie and filming the show, especially now that you're executive producers?
Good
Time, I
question.
think.
Time.
We had more time.
When you're shooting a TV show, especially one that isn't sort of humongous budget, you shoot a lot of scenes in every day, so you're sort of like really trying to move as fast as you can. Whereas with a film, you have a little bit more time to breathe. You shoot less scenes in a day, and yeah.
Lucy wants to know, knowing this is the last time the fans are seeing Nick and Charlie, where do you see them in 10 years' time? What do you think they're doing?
I think they're happy. I think
Yeah.
they've got really nice, normal jobs, a normal, happy life.
The thing I like about the film is that it sort of leaves it so open-ended. So like, I even, they could be anywhere. They could have, married, divorced. They could be anywhere. But their
Hopefully not
love
divorced.
lasts forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. V wants to know, what is your favourite track from the Heartstopper Forever film?
Ooh,
That's a good question. That is a good question.
there's some really good ones on the film.
There are.
Yeah, really.
But I also can't really remember.
I can't remember.
I always find that quite tricky. And normally when someone asks that, I go like, "Oh, the Wager Project song in it."
There's a
But
great Wish Project song in the film.
Is there which one? I can't
I
remember.
can't remember the name of
I
it.
can't remember.
So that's why I didn't say it.
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite song from the series?
Yeah, I would say that, again, ordinarily I would actually say like You're So Pretty or
Yeah.
My Vine, but like, I mean, there's that like Black Friday
Yeah.
section in season 3 in episode 4 that is, I just think like the song with that
Yeah.
sort of montage-y moment is really beautiful.
Yeah, really, really powerful. River wants to know, did you guys steal anything from the Heartstopper Forever set, like a final memento?
We had more input on the costumes this year, so I basically just put Charlie in my clothes that I would wear.
Love that.
So afterwards I was like, oh, I guess I'll take these t-shirts and a few pairs of jeans.
Amazing.
I also took some jeans. I don't know if I really took anything else, unfortunately.
No.
We didn't have that many like sort of props
There wasn't, yeah.
in the film. I'm sure that's not true, but
No, I don't think I took any.
Jeans and t-shirts
Jeans.
are
Yeah.
great.
you
great
need
to
those.
use. Exactly.
Those are important.
Anakin wants to know, what superhero would you associate with your respective characters, given that Nick is a huge Marvel fan and Joe, you're in the MCU?
Well, I mean, as I wore a Captain America costume
Probably that.
in the show, I would say that.
Yeah.
Who'd yours be?
I don't actually know what Charlie's would be. It's a cop-out to say my character, so...
But it's still iconic
For
though.
what I actually probably would be.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Another fun question. Fake Agatha wants to know, what do you think Charlie and Nick would do in the zombie apocalypse? How'd they get on?
I think
They do terribly.
No.
Charlie would be great in a zombie apocalypse.
I think that's absolute rubbish. They're just sweet kids.
I don't
Sweet
know.
kids.
I think Charlie's got an edge to him that he could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It came to it.
Great.
Last of Us crossover. Out the two of you, who do you think sends the most random things to the cast group chat at 2 a.m?
Ooh.
You
I've sent a few random
You've
things
sent a
recently.
few random things recently.
Not
I haven't
random.
really sent
though.
many things to the group chat
I think-
recently.
Not fully random.
They're not fully random, but they're sort of like, oh,
Yeah.
What were they, if you...
I definitely can't say.
Fair enough.
well, wasn't one of them just like, oh, do you remember when this happened, or like can't believe that this?
What was that?
It was something like a
It was us doing something that I'd forgotten we did.
yeah, and you were like, what the hell? Isn't that crazy? You're like, yeah. That's
You didn't
pretty
reply,
crazy.
so.
Well, I can
I didn't
imagine
reply.
with the show going on for so long and then the film, there's probably so many memories that you didn't realise.
Yeah.
and
I think what my point of sending that was like, isn't it weird that like we've got to do all these crazy things and yet some of them are like, we've done so many crazy things that even some of the crazy things I've forgotten about.
Yeah.
Like, I could never have imagined 5 years ago doing so many crazy cool things that I'd even forget about some of the cool things.
Exactly. It's been so life-changing and people are going to love this final chapter so much. So thank you guys and congratulations.
Thank
once
Thank you.
again. Thank you.
Thanks.